There, this is May 10th, 2014, and I'm in beautiful Northern California. See how crowded this one park is on a Saturday. Over here I've got this ponderosa pine tree I'm standing under. It's quite a large pine tree. And there's a squirrel up there throwing pine cones at me. In fact, one dropped about 4 feet. I can't see him up there, but he's up there. And here's the pine cone he tried to drop on me. See how close it rolled, hit right over here. Hey out there again, this is May 10th, 2014. It's a Saturday in Northern California. And I want to talk about some of the same stuff I usually get into, which in my mind is philosophy combined with economics. And a lot of people might say my philosophy smacks of religious speech, but I really don't see it like that. Jesus was accused of being religious, and he retorted by saying, "What is religion? You know, this is to care about widows and orphans and their distress. If religion is doing good things for humanity, then there's nothing wrong with it. But if we're going to use religion as a pejorative, derogatory term, then of course it's not a good thing in that sense." Now, I'm not sure who said, "In each of us is all of us." And I just tried to look that up online this morning and I couldn't find, who coined that phrase. But I think it's very true that humanity has far more commonalities than we do differences. But the people that are ruling over us are constantly trying to manipulate our perception, our paradigm, to fit their purposes. So we're constantly having to combat that by reading between the lines, by understanding the fine print of what's being sold to us. Or maybe the case, the way they sell something is by not selling you something else. So they don't discuss the paradigm altering values that would really change our reality. They don't want you to know what they know. So as a result, they're always trying to corral us and steer humanity in the direction they want us to go. And that requires us being a little less informed than they are, a little stupider, if you will. And so they do everything they can in collusion. Now we've got to talk about who these overlords are specifically, and it's a monopolistic group of special interest groups. Primarily, we're talking about the money printers, in conjunction with their political whores, which is basically all they are, because the ones that really in charge are the people in charge of printing the money. That is the most powerful magic in this world. It rules our lives on a day-to-day basis. Every one of us thinks about money on a daily basis. And they know that, and they play on that. And they use it to extract a perverted form of fear, intimidation from the public at large. They inject a lot of confusion, and this is akin to muddying the waters. And that's really all they need to do to keep us off balance. As long as you're uncertain, well, I'm really not sure how this works, then you will never be empowered. You won't be confident. You won't be able to teach others what you know and teach it confidently so that you can convey it to them effectively and that they can embrace the teachings that you have to give them and be able to pass it on to others. So it's very important that they keep us in this state of deceit, this state of confusion, this state of disempowerment. And what I attempt to do when I make videos is do my best to share the enlightenment that I have received from asking. And it's not difficult. It doesn't take a lot of intelligence. It just takes really wanting to get to the bottom of things, really wanting to clear the lake and saying, you know what, I reject your mud and I am going to see things the way I am allowed to see them. And that is clearly because God, which is not a religious force, this is a cosmic force for good. Okay, it can't be both bad and good. God has to be one or the other at the end of the day. God cannot be both a liar and a truth teller, for example. It can only be one or the other. It's like it's either light out or it's dark out. You could say, well, it's twilight, it's in between. But one or the other is dominant. It's either light enough to see or it's not. It's as simple as that. So they like us in this state of perpetual confusion and ambiguity, uncertainty. It keeps us off balance. And the fact that they are in the know, they know everything, they know what a charade the entire monetary-based system is, they are able to continue to perpetrate this lie upon the public. And we have to see just how fundamentally it affects all of our lives, in all the sundry ways it affects us, in our thinking, our day-to-day thinking. And many of us really don't know what's bugging us. But I'm here to tell you that's what's bugging you, what's bugging me, what's bugging so many people that haven't really been able to put their finger on it is very simple. It's that you have been born on a prison planet. You've been born like a hostage to the people that own the rights to print the money. I mean, have you ever asked yourself why you don't have the copyright to the money? What validates these people? What legitimizes them to have that right and not you or I? That's a very powerful magic. That's a very powerful force. People talk about ambition, that if you're poor, well, you just don't have the ambition. You need to get some ambition. And what they're talking about is ambition to go out and be successful. And what they're talking about there again, of course, as we all know, is to be prosperous, to make money, to serve well the God of this world. If you please the God of this world, which is the money and the people that are in charge of the money, then you maybe hope to share in the goodies that this God controls, and that is defined as success. And if you don't have prosperity, you're not successful, and you must not be ambitious. And it's this kind of mentality, this kind of thinking, this kind of conception, these ideas that really incense me and profoundly frustrate me, because I know truth from lies. I know the way things would be if good was in control of this world system, the society at large, which is a worldwide phenomenon at this point in history. We're also intricately connected. Everybody knows what's going on all around the world at a moment's notice with the internet and whatnot. It's very simple to know what's going on halfway around the planet. So we're all very interconnected. And it's like one small neighborhood now. So it's imperative that we figure out exactly what's going on here. Get to the bottom of it. Keep it simple, you know, because they convolute things for their own purposes. Again, it keeps you confused. It keeps you off balance. It causes you to lack confidence and not be able to speak with the assurance that you know what the heck you're talking about. And one thing that I found very important in my life is to really get to the root of the problems. And money, just like Jesus spelled out, is the root of all of our problems. And if we could just understand how fundamentally and profoundly it's affecting all of us globally, then we can get to the bottom of it. We at least can know right from wrong. We can know valuable from invaluable. We can know success from failure. Because to serve the God of this world successfully is, in my mind, not success at all, okay? Because the giver of true success is God Almighty. Again, not religious, cosmic. This is the source of all wisdom and truth. This is valuable. But the world system won't tell you that. They'll tell you it's nonsensical, unrealistic, idealistic drivel, okay? And that it has no value at all in the real world. And the only thing that's important in the real world is financial success. And this is the measure of success. This is prosperity. And these two forces are at enmity with each other. They cannot coexist in peace. One must prevail at the end of the day. And the way the story goes here on planet Earth is that the force for good ends up prevailing, and that this earth, because it rightfully belongs to God, the Almighty Creator God, who is all good and nothing bad, is going to take over again, and it is going to rule over humanity. And we individually can begin partaking in that right now. And that's why I feel compelled. There's a compulsion, just like so many other people out there who freely give out information, give knowledge and wisdom as best they can, as best as God has put it in their heart to share with humanity, because they want to lift you. They want to be a part of the sea change that's coming, which is known as the end of the age in the Bible. And that time, I believe, is quickly approaching. Seeing the events as they're unfolding in Russia and the Ukraine, the stand that the EU is taking, all these things. And now the last thing I heard that really correlates to the prophecies taught in Bibles, in Scripture, is Israel. I don't know who exactly in Israel, but I heard a clip on TV that Israel wants to give a couple of the most holy sites in Israel to the Vatican, to the Roman Catholic Church. And a lot of people don't know this one factoid, but the Pope, whichever is the sitting Pope at the time, is the Antichrist. And let me explain that by saying anti is a word that was devolved intentionally. It's a part of the confusing, keeping people stupid, dumbed down process that the Illuminati, these controllers over us, primarily, again, the money printers are involved in this. These secret societies, these people that will step out bounds of common decency at the drop of a hat. These people are the ones in control. And in conjunction with very powerful leaders like the Pope through history, has been a big troublemaker. If you look in the Inquisitions and the Crusades, at one time the Bible was outlawed, and they couldn't get away with it. You know, the hand of God was right in the mix, and so the Bible got out to the people. But to this day, to my knowledge, the Catholic Church doesn't tell people to read the Bible, and they call themselves Christians. Yet how are you going to learn about Christ unless you read the Bible? So the Pope is an antichrist because he's the substitute in most people's mind around the world. When they think of the Pope,